Okay, roll call.
Sorry about that.
Get that out of the way. The last person showed up, so
Find
that's
my
easy.
notebook.
Where is my? Oh, there it is.
Do I need to sign all here?
All right. Welcome back. Happy New Year. We have a very serious time frame this evening, so we'll try and keep everything as succinct as possible. And looks like we're all here, so let's go ahead and move on. If we could rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance and get that out of the way. Where is the old flag?
Right here.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Where are we at here? Changes to the agenda. Yes, Commissioner Hawley.
Zach has the picture taking before the adjournment, and we're gonna do them after. If I need to make a motion on that, or is?
No.
Okay, I move that we take the rest of the remaining pictures after we adjourn.
Okay. And
I
would anyone-
second.
All right. Motion has been moved to taking the rest after. Yes, Zachary.
Make sure you vote on that.
Oh, we must vote on that.
Oh.
So everyone in favor of taking the remainder of the pictures after adjournment, please raise your hand. It appears the hands have it. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Okay. What else do we have on the docket here this evening? Changes to the... is that the only change to the agenda this evening?
Yep.
Okay. Before we move on?
So the brainstorming thing that I wanted to talk about, would that fall under new business, or?
You know, I think that we could
Or
actually
the-
talk about that in old business, because you did bring it up at the last meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
we should try and tackle that at the last one.
Okay.
So it appears that we have something for public comment. We have a presentation this evening. Is that a good time to do that now?
Yeah.
Please, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Got up there somewhere. My name's Carl Exner. I'm on City Council. Been there for quite a while, and was selected to be on the liaison between council and the city and the Arts Commission. So I'm here, and I think this is your second meeting. Is that right?
It is.
Third.
Third?
Third meeting. Okay.
Oh, it is
Great.
third, yeah.
Well, welcome, and I really look forward to being able to work with you guys. And I know this is something that the council has really been on the docket for them for about 2 years. I remember when we set our goals up back in 2 years ago. We talked about trying to do something that the city of Sandy would be proud of, and something that we could really shine in, and the Art Commission came up with an idea. I think that's really the fruitation of what you see here, is being able to see the starts of making art as something that could be really important, and for different reasons, not just because it's great to see, but because it's also a tourism thing. So I know our economic development director has been really excited about seeing that, and I know that the council would like to see a lot of things happen in the city that are drawn by that. We have art community in the city that is really popular. I've been approached by several folks that want to make something happen. I've been approached by several of folks who have some money, who would like to be able to spend some money on art and be able to make that happen. I look to see all of you kind of be that organizer, the coordinator, the instigator, advocator, all the rest of the things that are part of that. I looked up what a liaison means, and it means to be a facilitator between peoples and organizations, and I hope to do that. I hope that if you have any questions about what the council is thinking, or anything that maybe we might be able to help you with, if there's shortages, too much of something, need something to be pushed along a little bit better, certainly through me or any of the councilors, but and Zach as well. So please don't be embarrassed about touching base with us. And, I'm on the emails, and I have my own phone number is out there, so certainly give us a call if there's something that you want to see happen there. And it's my desire to see that you guys have that opportunity. So if there is something that we can do, let us know. I really encourage you to do something just special. Just really be excited about this one. I think this is a kickoff of something that could really be making Sandy shine in a way that it hasn't in the past. And I know many people would love to see that happen, so I'm really hoping that you'll make it exciting and make it happen in the streets and in the cities, buildings, and maybe in the parks. Maybe make it move, make it shine, make it something that we can really see. It's just a lot of exciting things that go on that way. I want to end. I'm not sure if I'm quite exactly the poet in my life, but as the age kind of goes along, I think I've become more and more part of that. Van Gogh said, "A man should hear a little music, read a little poetry, see a fine picture every day of his life, in order that the worldly cares may not obliterate the sense of the beauty which God has planted in the human soul." So I encourage you to plant some beauty in Sandy's soul. And thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you very much.
Carl?
Yeah.
Or,
Yes, by all means, Commissioner Hawley, you have permission to speak too.
could I just ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Just
Go ahead.
because we're in the organizational phase.
Absolutely.
And in Article 7, our duties, it says, develop ideas and projects which will increase and enhance the art presence in the city of Sandy.
Right.
And it's something we're gonna discuss a little bit later, we need good communication, I think, with all of the departments in Sandy in order to know what's on the horizons, to know where art possibilities, might be coming on the scene. And if art can be a part of future plans instead of retrofitted as an afterthought, then we can keep it more cost effective and more perfectly suited to the location and more elegantly achieved. So one of the things that I've been talking to Zach about is how we can have communication with the various departments and to know, like Pleasant Street and the old Cedar Ridge building, to be in on that from the beginning so that we can be informed and have the foresight.
Sure. It's our intention at the very beginning to have the Art Commission to be able to kind of organize that, draw that, be the advocate of, and so as those plans start being put together, Pleasant Street plan is still in process. We've got a lot of work to do on the community center, and we've got several other projects coming down the road. If you want to be involved, the new sewer plant is being planned right now. We can put some art on that one. If you can deal with the smell, that would be great.
The fish swimming upstream
Yeah.
there.
I have a couple of watersheds that I work with on a daily basis that would love to see that. Yeah. So yes, I hope that we would be able to make that happen. And it would be something that I'll make sure that I would communicate to the council and the department heads as we go along. So sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anything else I can answer?
I'm just wanting to understand the communication channels. So if we do have a question or an idea, do we approach
Zach is
Zach?
the coordinator.
And then
I would
he
work with
approaches
Zach.
you? We don't approach you directly?
Oh, no. This is America.
How does this work?
No, we don't come
We
near
don't
it.
talk. We can talk as much as you want. You can talk to any counselor, the mayor. They're all interested, actually, very interested. It's the reason why they sent me here. I think that they all would like to see ideas, things that are coming up in the commission. One of the things that we're hoping that we'll see is that the commission will bring ideas to the council that we've never thought of. And through Zach and through other presentations, we can certainly see some people show up at the council and make public comment. I think in terms of a formal motion or some kind of presentation, it ought to go through Zach. Make sure that happens that way. But if there's something you just want to find out, if there is a opinion, if there is a suggestion, if there is something that you're just looking for what the council may be thinking about, I certainly will communicate that as well as I can and respond as best I can. If I can't, I'll go to the council and let them know that that's a concern or a need of some kind. Sure. But again, it's an open conversation all around.
Yeah, good.
That's why I'm here to help that process. Yeah.
Zach.
Not to interrupt or not to interject, well, interject a little bit. Of course, he may, like, you know, Mr. Exner said, you guys can communicate with him. Just make sure I would CC Adam, since he's the chair of the commission, onto those emails. And CC me on those emails too. That would help facilitate things. That way everyone's in the loop.
Yeah.
And then the commission, entire commission, if something's gonna happen, we'll let the entire commission know as well. So, yeah, just wanted to throw that in there, so you guys understand who to CC, who to communicate to. Okay.
The commission, like the planning commission, has authority and responsibilities to work your way through those hard decisions. That's what we were trying to do as a council, give you authority to do those things. There comes a place where you may have to spend some money in government money, and that's gonna be a place where the council will probably have to make that decision for you. But certainly, we'd love to see this thing have a life of its own, do what's right, make things happen. Right?
Thank you.
Yes?
Does that answer some questions, or
Well,
help
it
clarify some?
sounds to me, the question that I had was, you know, who's working on the Sandy Community Campus? Who's actually working on that? So how would we know what was occurring?
I can answer that question. Currently, the plan is being done by a contractor, and they are going to present an amended plan, is what I'm going to call it, here, I think, in February, and we're going to see those things put together. There currently is no art addition or amendment to the plan. I think that would be something we should really consider. I have to tell you that the monies that are being suggested in the plan are pretty outrageous. Me as a counselor, I think that we've got to find a cheaper way to make that happen, but we have to make sure that these buildings, you know, make Sandy proud, and I think without that art, without that contribution, we'd be just missing a real big possibility.
The vision though for that plan, the direction that you wanted it to go has been given to the architect or the...
On a big picture basis, yes, but not as in how each building will be looking and how, you know, paint structure, the art that will be in the grounds. We have almost 40 acres of that whole area. Some of that will be park, some of that will be buildings, and some of that is going to be parking, so there's a lot of opportunities to do several things. And I know that there is a couple of larger corporations here in Sandy. It would be lovely to contribute some money for that. And I think once we start putting some of these possibilities together, I think they'd be willing to contribute. I'll tell you, there's not much money in the budget right now for art, but I think
But you know,
that could
art doesn't
change.
always have to be expensive either.
That's right. But
Just
that
has to
is-
be good. Now, would we come to the city council meeting to get this information, or is there someone that we should?
Well, the
communicate
council will-
with?
The council will get a presentation, and you're certainly welcome to show up to that or follow it on camera.
At a workshop or a meeting?
It'll probably be a workshop.
Okay.
I can't remember which was assigned. We did, we put together several workshops, like a dozen workshops out ahead, and I think that was one of the assignments for the workshops.
Okay.
Well, you'll know that for a fact. I'll make sure that gets forwarded to Zach.
Communicated. Thank you.
That information.
Thank you.
That's a good point, though. I think there are some plans that, because we haven't had that emphasis, that have been kind of left that, the art side of the world unmentioned, and I think that's important not to do that anymore.
Well, and I
Remind
think-
us, remind me that we can make that happen.
And I think that there are departments that you wouldn't think of, like you said, the sewer plant. For instance, transportation did their survey and now they're gonna do a new survey. Let's say they determined they needed to put in a bus shelter and a bike rack. Well, it doesn't have to be a utilitarian bike rack and a utilitarian bus shelter. It could have an artistic element, if nothing else, etched glass on.
Sure, and if you notice that a lot of our transit station kiosks, I guess I call them, have that etched glass look to them. And sometimes it's not treated so well. Some of our constituents
Graffiti artists.
don't like something being untouched, so we're trying to keep that clean.
So, so in lots of departments, there are opportunities for art if people are know that there's a project coming
Sure.
up.
So I don't know if you knew this or not, but every building that the city itself builds has a budget of, I think it's 1%.
1%.
Add to the project, put art in it someplace. So
Mhm.
anytime we build, now, we're gonna do some big work on the city hall itself here this next year. We're gonna do some urban renewal dollars and put that on there, and I would hope that we would put something additionally to the city that would make it look like some art contributing to it, so, yeah.
We would encourage you to do so.
Well, propose something, give us an idea, give us
Okay.
something to think about.
As long as we can stay in the loop and know when those things are happening, I'm sure we would all be glad to.
In the planning phase.
Yeah.
I'll make it a point. Yeah.
Thank you.
And maybe it would be something that we could put on the agenda
Sure.
as we go down the road,
Mhm.
add that to it. But I'd be glad to do that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned that there have been people who have approached you, businesses or whatever,
Mhm.
with money, or people who've approached you with ideas of things that they
Yep.
want done.
Both, yes.
How and when would we be brought into that loop?
Well, once this commission starts going through the planning pieces of it, I would hope to bring those people to the table, to the podium, and say, you know, I have millions of dollars I'd love to give to the city of Sandy to make them. Not sure it's gonna be $1 million, but I hope so, but my guess is it'll be something less than that, but certainly I would be encouraging those people. I can't tell you who their names are right now, they
Mhm.
wish to say anonymous, but I think as we get down that road, I'm gonna encourage them to come here and say, either by letter or by presentation or something.
Great.
At one of our larger banking institutions here in the cities. Let's do something about that area, so. Okay, anything else before it's done? Let you do your work.
No,
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Really fast. before-
Zach, yes?
Sorry. I
No,
didn't
no
let you-
worries.
Let me speak. We will have presentations about projects coming up. One thing why we're not doing that right now is because we're still trying to get this foundation, get the foundation set really well. That's one thing. I'll do my research, talking to other cities about their arts commissions and struggles they encountered. And some of their successes was, well, the ones who had success said they spent a lot of time on foundational stuff. And I know that may not be exciting for everyone at times, but it's to make sure that we're going forward, you know, with the right thought of mind. You know, it's all, you know, we all have ideas about projects. You know, I know you guys all want to do that. You also got to think about right away, where you get the funds from, and there's other, you know, what's the selection process, bidding processes, things like that. So it does take time to go through all this, but we will have presentations about projects and community, and we'll be speaking with Jordan, Mr. City Manager Jordan Wheeler about that stuff too, and department heads. So there's also it's just important to have the good foundation set down. And the arts commissions I talked to where things did not start off too well, it's because the foundation was not there. And so it may seem slow, but there's a reason for it. Right.
Right.
Anything else to add? Okay. It appears we have another presentation. I'm assuming from these ladies here in the audience. Would someone like to come and give the presentation in regards to the 24 Hours in Sandy photo project?
Hello, I'm Sarah McIntyre, the Library Director for the City of Sandy. And I just wanted to come tonight to see where you were in your processes and to let you know that the library is very interested in art. We would love to assist you with projects or any ideas. So keep us in mind as a place to display art, as somebody who's very interested in projects. So, and Thea has a project that she's going to present.
Hello. So the project that you guys have in paper, it's in very, very draft form. I'm curious if you guys have any feedback on the wording and basically what do you think of the project itself? And I know I'm getting this to you kind of late for this meeting, so if you want to email me about that sort of thing later. Also, after the project happens, I'm going to need help putting together a book and a display, and I was hoping that a couple of you might be interested in working with us for that. And
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your project? We do
I'd
have the
love to
paper,
see
but
it.
we'd
What
love
is-
to hear it from everyone else.
oh yeah, so I run the library photography group, and they were very interested in having a project. And this one kind of checked all the boxes for the library specifically. It documents the city of Sandy, and it brings, hopefully, it will bring a diverse vision of Sandy into one place. And it'll be hopefully 24 photographers taking one picture per hour. Each photographer will submit 1 to 3 pictures, depending on how many people we get to sign up for it. And it will be a book and a display at the library.
And so, will all of the photographs be curated by the library photography club? Is that how the project's kind of being planned out, or?
It'll be a subcommittee, me and at least 2 of the photography group members, and then I was hoping 2 of you guys too.
Okay.
Would this be something that would be eventually a copy of, or the original donated to the Historical Museum?
That would be a great place to put one to, yeah. We do plan on having one at the library, and hopefully offering a couple for sale to the photographers at least. But it's in such draft mode right now. I would love help thinking about it.
Okay.
How are you anticipating making the project public? Do you have photographers lined up so far? Or are you just going to call to artists? Are you going to put that in the newspaper? Or just kind of curious?
So we do have about 20 photographers on our email list.
Okay.
But I do also want to send out a blast through the Clackamas County Arts Alliance, hopefully the newspaper as well, and our newsletter.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Lou, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I know that these type of projects can be difficult because I've done several of them in my career. So I'm willing to help out in any way I can. And I haven't seen the application or anything, but would the photographers retain the rights to their pictures? In other words, I guess the easy question is, they maintain their copyright. You're not going to.
Right.
Okay.
The only thing we need to make sure we have permission to do is to publicize it, of course, with their information attached, wherever it goes.
Okay. That's kind of a thing in mind, is that the artist retains their copyright.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think I need to make that more clear on the.
Yeah, I didn't see it anywhere in here, and I haven't, how to apply, sometimes other projects like that would have it in the application. I think you just need to make that clear to everybody involved.
Definitely.
Just as a courtesy to anybody that wants to participate.
Zach. Yeah,
One little side note, Thea, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Thea was on the Arts Commission in Estacada in the past. So she has done y'all's role in the past, and she actually helped me out a little bit back in the summertime, trying to figure out how to advertise this to everyone. So, yeah, so she's done it before, in the past, so she's been in the same situation y'all been in.
Excellent.
Estacada is established, for a town their size, has a well-established Arts Commission in their community, so. Yeah.
And Rod's gonna sign up.
Great.
So is that all you got for us? Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
We can open the floor up for discussion on this. If anyone has anything else to say about it, or we can move on and go from there.
I'd
Yes,
like to
please.
say that I think that that's a pretty exciting project. Being somebody who's in love with Sandy anyway, I would love to see anything preserved of Sandy for future generations, because I know I haunt the historical museum and the books that have been put out It's very, very interesting, and maybe we don't see the importance of it right today as much as generations down the line will.
I agree.
The-
Anything else to add?
I just say I'm very supportive of it. I'm a photographer too, so if you need any help, I'd be happy to help you out. Anything you need. I've done some, as Becky, done some gallery displays at the Sandy Actress Theater, so we're very familiar with doing that. So if you need any help doing anything, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I too think it's a fantastic idea. I love photography. I love seeing time capsules of cities and time and place and recorded and available to people for future generations. And there's no time like the present to do that. So, okay. Moving on, unless there's anything further to add to that wonderful addition to the Arts Commission. Robert's Rules of Order. Is everyone familiar with Robert's Rules of Order? Any and all councils, commissions, anything is based on this parliamentary procedure. So, yes, Zach.
I guess I threw this in there to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
I felt like towards the end of the last meeting, I know everyone read this beforehand. I know Becky has sent this out to everybody. I just want to quickly just go through it, like not necessarily go through it, but just touch some highlights.
If you would, please.
Yes, and of course, I encourage everyone to read this. I know I have this, and it's a good resource. Essentially, you want Adam is the chair. He will be running the meetings, and in his absence, the vice chair will be running the meetings. But essentially, anytime you want to speak, raise your hand and wait to be what do you call it? Recognized, and that way you can speak. You look at this; it's basic things like if you want to adjourn, what do you say? If a second is needed, if it's amendable, if the vote is needed, like a majority, or the chair decides, or things like that. This is a basic way to just keep order in the meetings. And one thing I've noticed in past meetings or commission boards I've been part of is always maintaining control or order. And basically just, and I know it sounds kind of elementary, but wait to be recognized to speak essentially is the biggest thing, and making sure we're amending things and making motions in the correct manner. That way, for the recording we have and for the minutes, it's obvious as to what happened. Because while it may not look like a lot of people watch, someone could watch one day, or city manager, or city council, they could want to know what happened in the meeting. All right. The second page, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I know we're under a time crunch. Second page is about basically how do you handle a main motion, things like that. And one thing, how to go into debate, who allows the debate, put people into committees. One thing to make sure is make sure you're listening to the other side. I know sometimes that's something we all need to do better at times, is listening to people. Focus on the issues and not the personalities. Avoid questioning people as like a personal conflict. Avoid doing that. That won't really help us go anywhere. I don't think we have that at all yet. We never run into that here, and I doubt that would happen. And just make sure, be polite, have fun. We're all volunteering our time here. One other thing to keep in mind with this, if you're getting to the point of having a discussion or debate and it's lasting like 30 minutes and some of y'all are thinking we've exhausted everything we can talk about, it's okay to go through and make a motion. Can we make a motion to table the discussion and talk about it another time? Because sometimes we may not have all the information, or we're just running in circles. And you guys have probably been part of a board or a commission where that's happened before, and you just kind of, if people get a little frustrated, just kind of make things move a little bit quicker in a more efficient manner. Yep. One thing to keep in mind is adjourning. Make sure you need a second. Adam, make sure someone makes a motion, someone else seconds, so we'll vote.
Do we need to make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is that how that works? I've never seen that happen, but.
I guess, actually, I'll make a minute,
Yeah.
let me say this, I think Adam, you make that much, you
I
make
see.
that, there you go. I move to adjourn and then get someone else a second.
Okay.
Yep. You do vote. Thank you for asking that
Sure.
clarifying question. And, yes, so basically, have this out. I know I'll have it out for my personal benefit and for everyone else. It's kind of a cheat sheet. And I don't expect anyone to be perfect. You know, no one's perfect in life. And so I'm not, neither will I scold you if you make a mistake either. Because Lord knows I make mistakes. All right, with that, this is a quick overview. Just make sure it's there. We can move on.
Okay. My computer keeps logging me out when I don't pay attention to it. Okay, yes, and forgive me, I will learn all of your names if you'll wear your name tags and,
Yeah, we
and give me binoculars so I can read them from
Yeah.
afar.
Well, I was just gonna mention names. Are we supposed to refer to each other in a formal way, or can we use first names?
I don't have a problem with anything as long as we know who's talking to who. I will probably call you Commissioner until I really learn your name, so.
Okay.
That's what I will be doing, and no disrespect by just calling you Commissioner. Zach, you have the floor.
I know in sometimes some city, so I've seen city council meetings where the mayor has said counselor instead of the last name. I've also seen commissions like this where people use first names, or I've also seen people use commissioner as well. And so I think as long as it's polite and not in a derogatory or negative manner, it should be fine either way. But I think I'll leave that up to y'all, what you want to decide.
Okay. You can also correct me and say, my name is, and then I'll remember this. Sir, any more discussion on Robert's Rules of Order? Thanks for going over that with us, Zach. It's always a good refresher, and it's a good reminder of how we should behave in a public forum. So, old business. We kind of touched on some of this, and I'd like to just call on Commissioner Hawley. She had some questions that I think perhaps got cleared up a bit with Mr. Exner? Thank you. Earlier about how we could communicate with the powers that be in the city to engage a dialogue to make things happen, to get things moving. So if you'd like to discuss that.
Because we have limited time in our meetings, I want to propose that we have a committee who could do some of the interactions outside of the meeting so that we can get some work done outside of the meeting. We can come here, discuss it, and vote, have the committee report. For instance, I know that Mr. Exner is also on the Planning Commission and maybe tourism or economic development. Well, those are very important things that we need to know about. And so someone on our commission needs to stay in touch with those issues. And so I would like to propose that we have a committee to talk about issues like that outside of our meetings. And I would
Before we go on, I would like to question Zach. Is that an appropriate way to have a dialogue with people in the city, is to have a primary of 3 members on a committee? Or is that unorthodox?
My way I look at that may be something you need to get clarification from maybe the city manager, Jordan, about that. My thing would be, well, what's this 3-member committee talking about? I mean, is it something that the commission agrees upon as an issue that needs to be addressed? Or is it something that the 3 committee members are saying they want to talk about? And that's where I would try to be careful, make sure we're being transparent, and make sure no one's, I'm not saying one would do this, but make sure 3 people aren't making up their own agenda and then trying to sway everyone to go a certain direction.
No, well, let me clarify. I was thinking of a situation where individuals could go to the regular council meetings or the other commission meetings, the library commission or planning commission or other commission meetings, and glean information and get relevant information. David Schneider, I know, works in the Tourism and Economic Development Department. And how can we be of service to him? And how can he keep us in mind artistically? Because I know that one of the things we want to foster is more tourism. We want to enhance the livability of our community and encourage people to spend more time here spending their money. That's an economic benefit to the community, is just having its own residents stay here and not go to Portland. So how can we have individuals not in this setting?
Well, we'll say, I mean, speak over.
Yes, please, please.
I mean, like, Parks Commission or Planning Commission, those are free. Those are, anyone in the public can go to those meetings unless they go to some executive committee, which I don't know if they can or not. But like, those are free for everyone to go to, and those minutes of I believe if they host those minutes in this room, those are available
That's
online.
public meeting.
Yeah, it's a public meeting. You should be able to see that via YouTube as well, via the city website. I guess the way I look at it is, like, from my perspective is, people can go to those and come back and report, or if there's something like, you mentioned David Snyder, something like a tourism thing with the Arts Commission. Since he's a staff member, he'll probably come talk to me and go, hey, just something the commission wants to do. Another example would be before Kim Yamashita left, she asked, hey, council needs to develop goals for 2019, 2021. And she came to me, and then I sent an email to y'all about, hey, give me your ideas, and then I'd provide that information back to the city manager. And so that's an example of, going through one person. So an example of David, he'll probably come through me first, instead of that way I can communicate that with you. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, they'll plan to establish a committee, 3 people to go all these commission meetings. It feels a little redundant from my point of view.
Or could we have a meeting and invite them in to speak?
Oh yeah, like, what you could do.
A small committee meeting to have them talk about their department.
If you guys decide to as a group, what you can do is say, for example, I think his name's James, he runs the Parks Commission. And since he runs the Parks Commission, you guys want to know more about that or what's going on, I always get him to come to a meeting and he can present.
Mm-hmm.
Or get the staff liaison for that commission to come in and speak. That is something I think actually would be a little more getting the information directly, a little bit more efficiently, I believe. Something we can definitely do, if as you all agree together, like, who do you guys want to hear talk? Like Transit Commission, or I believe there's a commission for that, or some kind of committee for that. So that's something we can do as well, have them present.
That's okay.
Oh, sorry, Adam.
No, that's
Sure. And Carl Exner. I've been on Planning Commission for about 5 years before I was on council, and I've been involved in almost every one of the departments and their committees. So just for some history, and this is, you can do this or not do this. First off, I would say, don't make a subcommittee that's more than 3, so you don't end up with a quorum.
right.
I hear that happening. That's great. Several of the committees and the commission has in the past assigned certain people, certain kinds of projects, or certain kinds of committees to go to, get information from, and bring it back to the committee at the whole, so something like that can happen. One of the things that I really would recommend you do is probably bring in each one of those representatives of each of the committees and have them make a short presentation and say, here's what we do in transit, here's what we do in economic development, here's what we do in parks, and down the list. And then probably ask them to give you some ideas of what they're thinking about. My guess is that they have some ideas. They would love to see art involved in their buildings or in their organization or in their activities. My guess is you can do a lot of those kind of things. It's pretty open in terms of how you organize yourself. So,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, please.
I just want to add that I think there's a huge value to interacting face-to-face, whether we do it that way or, as Becky mentioned. I think the out of sight, out of mind, we don't want to be out of sight. So, yeah.
And if I may just add to that, I think ultimately, you know, maybe just speaking for myself and maybe the conversation that we've had, there's just a little bit of apprehension about how we approach the city through transparency, you know, and the due process without accidentally having a quorum or having a conversation that's not transparent to the public. So I'm very new to all this, and I think, you know, for me, I just want to get the specifics of who I can talk to, how I can approach them about these projects or future projects or anything of that sort, and do it appropriately. So, yes,
That's where you
please.
go to Zach first.
Having been on some committees before and on the city council before, I would be opposed to us having subcommittees of our subcommittee. I think that the proper way to do it, as far as all of us being enlightened at once, is to bring in someone, okay, we'd like to know what's going on with the Parks Department. Can you set up someone to come in to the next meeting and talk to us so that we're all on the same page? Because otherwise, I think that groups can become adversarial towards each other. You know, they're each promoting their own viewpoint, and we don't want to be doing that.
Right. Yes.
So what would you think about doing a workshop rather than this type of meeting?
We have to
And where
do
we
that.
invite department heads to come in and let them know what we're looking for, because the more people, you wouldn't necessarily look at someone and think, oh, they're an artist, but they can be, those artists and artistic people, and those ideas can come from any department at any level. And so for people just to be aware that there's an opportunity and that they can come to us and that we want to know what they're doing, those lines of communication, I think, are just really important. Otherwise, we're sitting up here in this formal setting and we don't know what's going on around us.
Yeah, that would be good.
So if we have people come and talk to us and we gather the information and we get together in a workshop or in this format to say, what's a priority? Let's all start working on this or on this. So everybody does stay on the same page.
Okay. Yes, Zach.
If you, what I would recommend is, I would recommend doing presentations during meetings, not necessarily doing a workshop. I would recommend doing those during the meeting, during our monthly meetings, and that means if we have to extend the time of the meetings or readjust that, we can do that. Not tonight,
Right.
time crunch. What we can do, I can talk to people, other commissions, and a couple, I think, economic development, maybe if one person to speak with first, and have them set up a meeting, have one person come in, or one or two people each meeting come in, give you guys more information. That's something I can do if you guys want me to. And I know me and Kim had that conversation. If someone wants, say a counselor goes, hey, I want to know more information about this, you know, something we can do, but we want the group to agree to that. The other thing is, if you have like an agenda item, like about a certain project or something, I would email Adam about that and CC me on that, saying, hey, I want this on the agenda coming up next meeting. That way we know it's going to be on. That way we can establish agenda a little better. And me and Adam can sit down and go, okay, what do we need to prioritize here?
In lieu of a longer conversation about that, we are in a time crunch, and I'd like to just table that conversation for another meeting. But in the meantime, I think that any and all questions that we have, we can just direct to Zach until we get the fundamentals of our commission underway over the course of the next couple of months. So if we may, I'd like to move on to the bylaws, which is a very important aspect of our last meeting. And Commissioner Hawley, you are the chair of that committee. Would you please do us the honor?
Pam, Lee, and I came up with the following as a mission statement for your consideration. The mission of the Sandy Arts Commission is to increase the livability and economic value of our city for both residents and visitors. Serving as an advocate for the visual and performing arts, we promote art and culture enrichment by facilitating increased opportunities for, access to, and enjoyment of the arts. By partnering with the community, we will further artistic and cultural development, adding vitality and quality of life to our diverse community.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Is
it
there,
does sound good.
Any discussion, open the floor for discussion about any amendments to that, or how anyone feels about it? I think it's very well written. I think it's a good reflection of what we're trying to do here.
On your screen, I just clicked on the bylaws, where I placed it for right now into the bylaws. I put that into your monitors right now, if you guys want to take a look at that.
Okay. Yep. And Zach, can I ask a
He
question,
controls
please?
that screen.
At any
Oh, yeah.
point, we can amend the bylaws, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I thought so.
yeah, someone has to make the motion, you have to put it on the agenda and
Okay.
make a motion, well, talk about why, what the reasoning is, why, and then make a motion to do it. And you gotta have to have a vote on that.
That's this.
Okay. Do we need to have a vote on to accept the mission statement as read?
Or just the bylaws?
Well, to me, the mission statement is part of the bylaws, so
Okay, very well.
you guys can discuss that and say,
I think we should probably table voting on amending any part of the bylaws, again, until the next meeting. Unfortunately, that our time is kind of short tonight. Does anyone have a problem with that, or would like to discuss the bylaws at any length? Yes.
There was, reading through it, there was only one thing that we had brought up in our last meeting, and Zach sent us an email of clarification in the Article 3, changing the word incumbent
Oh, right.
to qualified
Mhm.
applicant, so that it's plain English
Thanks.
and clear.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll fix that.
If we need to vote on that or make some kind of commitment on that, that was the only thing
Yeah, let's do that. Would you guys, are you making a motion to
I
make that
mean,
amendment? Zach?
Well, since we haven't voted on the bylaws yet.
I see. So you have to do the whole thing first?
Yes.
Okay, I got
You know,
you.
we can make, if this is for the moment, time being, we can make edits right now.
I
if
see.
We haven't voted on them. And qualified applicants, I will make that a change.
Okay,
If that's, I know that's, we talked about last time, and I think I did not write that down. That's on me,
Okay.
unfortunately. And so I'll make that amendment, that way it's clarified next time.
Do I need to make a motion to that effect?
not at this
No.
time.
Okay.
Next time.
Or could we just,
No, he needs to rewrite it.
oh, you have to
correctly.
rewrite it and then we vote on it, okay. All right.
Well,
Yes. Zach?
you can't, nothing this complicated. You can vote on this, and then we can somebody make the motion next meeting to edit that. Or you can do that way too, or you can wait till next meeting to approve all these.
Yeah.
I would recommend
that.
that we should be approving these bylaws probably at the latest next meeting.
Okay.
Or even if it requires us to go through this right now and maybe not get to new business right now, that way we get through the bylaws. I actually would recommend that. And it's of course, up to the commission to decide what you want to do. But I would recommend trying to really have the bylaws established tonight. That way,
Okay.
next
That's-
meeting, those are established, but it's up to y'all what you want to do.
That's the motion I wanted to make.
Is to accept the bylaws as posted?
Accept the bylaws with the changes that were suggested.
Okay, therefore, then we would have viable bylaws that we could then edit and amend, correct?
Yes.
Anyone like to
I'll
second that
second
motion?
that. I'll
Okay.
second that.
Motion,
Marcia Morrow.
motion passes. Zach?
Did you vote on that?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Everyone's just going, yeah. So let's have a vote in favor of accepting the bylaws as posted. And that vote passes the motion.
I will.
Thank you.
I
Thank
will
you.
make the edits and put that in staff report. And
Okay,
put that
thank you
for
very
next meeting.
much. So to just go ahead and get to the last bit here, the only thing we have left, it appears that we did get a list of the art and location of stuff here in town. And I think we've all probably had a look at that and have seen it all.
Yeah.
So there's not much
No, there's-
at this point.
First,
Yes,
I want
sir.
to apologize. I know the formatting, when I put this into the agenda, the formatting did not work well. And I know Leah has sent out some additions,
Okay.
some additional things that the city, that she believes the city has public art for. And I know there's more to this. There has to be more out there. There's never been a comprehensive list put together like this. And so
Yeah.
that may be actually a project that we may have to I mean, y'all may want to think about doing.
Okay.
I don't want to start, I'm speaking for y'all. I mean,
Yes, please, by all means.
My suggestion is that we make a more complete list, but
Mhm.
we include the art community as a whole. For instance, the theaters in town, art galleries, the library has, I don't know, you have a glass sculpture or something I thought you had, but that we just make a complete list of what there is, and then at some time in the future, it'll probably figure into some type of project that will help people circulate around town maybe, and
Help facilitate a walking tour, perhaps.
like a walking tour or something, so.
Yes, Zach?
one thing I will say is walking tour, I think I've seen a lot of communities do that. That is actually something that is actually one of the recommendations I made months ago when I made up an idea of potential projects. I did think of walkability, but that's like a 20, 30-year plan. That's a long-term plan, obviously. But about the art inventory is, you know, you can put it together. Is this, are we talking about things the city owns, or talking about things or art installations that's all together in the
Both
city?
categories.
Both public and private. Because the only thing is cities don't own private property, obviously. So I guess the question is, do you want art inventory to be public or private?
I think that we need to have an inventory, first off, of the publicly owned art, whether it's been contributed or whether it's been bought, the public art. As I explained, there's also a salmon sculpture down at the bus campus. And there is in this building a painting that I donated of the first Sandy City Hall and Fire Department. So I know that those two pieces exist. What I'd like to see happen actually is for pictures of the available art that the city owns to be taken and put with this inventory.
I do agree that would be a really good idea. I think that would really facilitate things.
Yes.
I think private art is a lot more complicated because, I mean, where are you going to draw the lines?
Yeah, and it's changeable.
And private art in what kind of spaces, and yeah, and it's changeable, and so, you know, I think probably the public art would be.
Public, yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I brought the public art, private art is the commission was set up for public art, and from my understanding of the ordinance, and so I want to make sure we're not crossing into any boundaries that will upset anyone in the community. I know everyone's that's want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Just to bring that to your attention.
Okay. Thank you. Well, it appears it is the witching hour, just shy of 6:55. Yes, Zach?
Before we adjourn, I want to make one more announcement. I know we're starting to get things moving. In the future, I mentioned a second ago, in the future, when we do the getting ready for our new agenda, if it's the agenda item you want to talk about, email that to me and Adam. And me and Adam will set the agenda together, and then we'll send it out to everybody. And I think it's a good, I think at this point we'll want more input, try to figure out where you guys want this to go. And so that way you can be a little more, get a little beyond the, you know, nuts and bolts of everything.
Do we have Adam's email?
It should be in the city email, just be Adams and the last name, triplet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you might be able to find me in one of the mass emails, like my name in the list.
Oh, okay,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, you should be able to find anybody. You hit compose email, you type in Adam Triplet, it should pop up.
Okay.
If it doesn't, I know you have my email address, you always email me and I will make sure I CC Adam onto that. And one other thing is, it's okay to email me about questions, obviously. If you ask me for like email me requesting something, I will try to email the entire commission back about it. And that's not necessarily to, that's not to embarrass anyone. It's to just be, hey, someone asked this question. I want everyone to be aware as much as possible.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that may happen from time to time. It's just to make sure everyone's aware that was a question asked, and this is why we're doing it.
Okay.
So we need
Adam, you go through the minutes.
I have to read the minutes?
Oh no.
What? What did you say?
So at the bottom of the agenda, it says well, plus the consent agenda, plus the minutes.
Okay,
But to approve the prior minutes.
Okay.
For November.
do I need to approve those? Do we need to, make a motion to approve the minutes as posted? Is that how that works?
You didn't want to do a motion.
What's
I
the-
made I'll move that we approve the amendments as written.
Okay, anyone else like to second that?
Second thing, I'll second it.
Okay, and now we vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes as written, raise your hands. Motion passes. Is there anything else to come before the commission this evening, before we adjourn? Yes, Commissioner Hawley.
Pam was gonna ask about the meeting.
Oh, yes. Could we set a regular time for our meetings so we can plan our lives around it?
That would be great.
The last couple of meetings, which seem to have worked best for everyone, have been Wednesdays. What is this, third Wednesday? Can we continue third Wednesdays? Does that work for people?
That works for me. What about everyone else?
It works for me.
And just make it the third Wednesdays of every month?
I will go through the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe do that
Okay.
first, and I want to try to set out, I'm not saying meetings the last 2 hours, but just make sure
Yeah.
we have enough time. That way everyone has enough time to plan lives around it. I know we all have lives outside our commission. But I'll go through the calendar for the next few months to see if that will work out. That way things are lined up. That sound, okay?
That's a great
Thank
idea.
you.
Thank you for bringing that up, actually. Is there anything else to come before the commission this evening? I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Do we need to vote on that? All in favor of?
No, and now you wave.
Motion passes. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming and Happy New Year.
Thank you, everyone.
Can't make it.
I think we're doing some photographs, so don't dash off too quick, but.
Whoever doesn't
Well,
have them.
we got just about everybody except you.
Except me?
Yeah.
Was I that late?